Hey guys, how you doing? Nice to see you again. Thanks for joining me. So I wanted to talk to you today about masculinity. And I wanted to include a story about what happened with me and this dude today at my new place of employment. So to get right into it, I am an independent contractor. I am a tutor at a public school. Public school is the client. And I see students in groups of between 1 and 5, right? The most common number is 3. I take groups up to the library. I do 20 to 30 minutes, sometimes more, of literacy work. They're behind, they've been evaluated. We have specific targets for each child. It's pretty awesome that way. But I'm trying really hard to do a good job. I want to get along with everybody. I listen to everybody. If somebody's bitchy to me, I just go along with it. I don't take anybody's shit, but I just say something pragmatic and honest. And if I don't do that, I just stay quiet. But I've worked very hard to develop a good rapport with everyone there, but especially with the children and the classroom teachers especially. I would say it's the children, followed by the classroom teachers, second place, and then, the individuals who help me in the office, and then everybody else, right? So, having given some thought to how to do that, I started working very hard to be gentle and vulnerable with the kids and honest, and to also have some other important things in place, to be prepared, to be alert, to be at my mental best, and to have resources ready for them when they show up. So I'm really trying to make sure that the kids get what they need, and I know that because this is something that they have to participate in with me, I know that I need their buy-in. If they don't feel that they have something to lose in this process, then they won't work quite as hard as if they feel they only have stuff to win. It's a negativity bias. People work harder to avoid losing money or what they value. They work much harder to avoid losing money than they would to earn the same amount of money. They'll work twice as hard to prevent themselves from paying a $100 parking ticket as they will to drive around an additional 15 minutes looking for a space that's legal, for example, right? Been there. And so I feel spiritually invested and emotionally, personally, all the levels, professionally invested with these children and with these teachers. So an individual, individuals come and go in these classrooms. There's the head teacher, and then sometimes there'll be an assistant teacher or an observer, sometimes people from the school board. Anyway, there's official people who come in. There are, other contractors who observe. Sometimes we have film and picture people come, all kinds of people come through, right? So when this guy came through, I thought nothing of it. I just thought, okay, here's another guy. And then one day, I was in the auditorium, and he put his arm around a woman. She's very young. She is very professional. She's also very attractive, and she wriggled wriggled out from his arm. And he was like so apologetic. He was like apologizing for like 30 seconds nonstop. He did this in front of all of us, like the whole staff, including principal, vice principal, everybody's like back there, right? And he's out here doing that. And at that point I thought, oh, okay, well, I guess maybe, I don't know, maybe he wasn't thinking, like hadn't asked himself, how might she feel about this? And you know, I'm trying not to make any judgments about him, but the word that popped in my head was toxic masculinity. And then today, the guy is now assisting in one of the classrooms, which is home to the students I work with. And he wanted me to take this kid up. I told him that I no longer work with that kid. And he proceeded to give me what was a combination of like a talking down to, I believe it. Yeah, it's like when you talk to somebody who either doesn't know anything at all, or who should know what you're telling them, and you're kind of disgusted that you have to say this to them for the nth time, right? So varying degrees of patience or no patience. And so he was kind of like more on the patient end, but he was still like explaining how things work in this kind of like, you know, like dick way. And there's my anger. And he made the issue of that child having time in my schedule to work with me and the group to come back to the sessions, because I had barred him from the sessions after an outburst in which he screamed and ran screaming down the hall and broke down into tears and had to be coddled, had to be held by one of the high members of the staff in authority there. And she was the one who came down and hearing that he was in distress again, held him until he cried and then collapsed, and then I think maybe he slept a little bit and then he reset. And I thought, you know, how I would love to be able to help that child to come in contact with himself so that he can learn to have sympathy for himself, and to eventually allow himself to feel the things that he's feeling. And I thought, but unfortunately I knew that was beyond my capacity there as a contracted tutor, as a phonics English ESL tutor, or ELA tutor, and also ESL. I'm also teaching English to children who are from the global south. And it's awesome, and I love it all. I really do. But I thought that emotional regulation or emotional coaching would be outside of my scope for this setting. So I decided that it would be better not to work with him, this child. And he's been fine with that. And the adult, the individual I'm centering the story around, he took great pains to explain to me that this was about being a man. That the reason the child is not able to regulate himself is because of the absence of a strong male figure in his life to guide him. So we, going like this to me, we have to provide that. End quote. And I was like, very embarrassed, very embarrassed. I was embarrassed to be spoken to in that diminutive way by someone whose grasp of the English language is several groups of grades below my own, and who assumed that I carry and exude a specific shade of masculinity, which is more on the pink end. So I'm on thin ice here, right? Because I'm getting my my professional veneer like kind of worn down every nanosecond that this person talks to me this way. And I'm also feeling like, afraid, what is my employer going to think if they think I'm spending like 10 minutes talking to someone in the hallway when I should be spending, 10 minutes with the kids upstairs, What are they going to say? Like, what if the principal or the vice principal see me like with the kids here in the hallway and I'm standing around? What are they going to think? Like, I allowed myself to remain in a like professionally vulnerable, like bad, unnecessary, uncalled for, unspecified position for a long time, as though I were obliged to take care of this individual by hearing him out. I'm angry with myself that I did that shit, man. It's like, straight up, when I do that kind of thing, when I sacrifice what's in my best interest to take care of somebody else's feelings, like in littlest, like smallest degrees, it shows me that my ego is still immature, It shows me that I'm less grounded than I need to be. And I can feel around him that I am less grounded. I can feel that my energy gets stuck in my head. Basically, it just circulates in the upper part of my body. And that looks like a lot of like overthinking and some racing heartbeat, the need to regulate my breathing. Sometimes I get, flushed, turning pink or red or whatever. So, yeah, that's how I feel around him, and even more so now. And I really would like to stay grounded. That's going to take some concentration. That's going to take some concentration, for sure. So, ooh, yeah, all right, like, what I want some of you to know, like the adults who have children or teach or are involved with children, like myself or other contractors who are, in the building. What I want you to know is that I really believe, no, forget that. What I want you to know is that the world and our country will be much better within about 5, 6 years. It'll all be much better if we start teaching our children how to be emotionally self-aware, how to talk about their feelings, have a vocabulary around that, and then how to express them in healthy ways and to think about getting what it is that they need. So if we start doing that, I think in about 5 to 7 years, the world will look different. If we all start at the same time, if enough of us start at the same time. But I ain't waiting for you. I already started. But look, you can start now. So, and that's like where that's what really needs to happen with this kid. This person made that child apologize, made that child come to the hallway and apologize to me and to shake my hand, because that's what men do. And I was like, God, fucking damn it, man. It makes me so mad to look back and see that I allowed myself to be a part of that without saying, I find what you're saying to be offensive to me and misleading to the child, and I don't want any part of it. And then left. So, which I will say, but in a way that's a little, he's not quite gonna get it. He'll just think I'm saying I don't like him or something like that, or I don't want to work with him or something like that. Which is not what I'm saying at all. What I'm saying is your perspective on what this child needs is a vision of strength that looks like not expressing your feelings, not acknowledging your feelings, not practicing to be aware of your feelings. No, I'm not on board. So anyhow, it's an interesting and tough situation to be in with this kid. And the solution for that is to coach him one-on-one in, handleable amounts. And I have done that with this kid one time, and he was a different person. They are different people when they are alone and feel safe, and they start talking a little bit louder. They are different people, completely different people. And I know we learn to adopt these personae as time goes on, but 7 years old is very, very young to have like that kind of spacesuit on, that's like painful. The model of having like multiple kids in one space for 20 minutes at a time and having high turnover, turning them over every 20 minutes, that, as far as I'm concerned, is extremely limited. It's working, but it's very limited. And as I learn more about these kids and understand like the subtleties of what they do and do not understand in decoding words, learning to read, and what I'm realizing now is that a cookie cutter approach to teaching will leave some children like so far behind that they'll be reading like somewhere between a 3rd grade level and a 7th grade level, like at best, because most of the nation reads at a 7th grade level. And they're writing too. Like I remember reading a lot of the writing when I taught community college. The writing was like simplistic, formulaic, non-expressive. I would like to start helping men like him, but I'm not ready yet. I have to go through the experience of finishing formation of my own identity as a man or a male. I'm still working on that. And I got to finish going through that. And then I got to have a few more moments where I'm really grounded and say exactly what it is that I need to men like him in situations like that. I got to have like 1 or 2 more once I'm like, and I'm going to need to be fully grounded in order to do that in the best way. So for now, I'm gonna kind of tiptoe around interactions like that. I'm gonna keep working on myself like hardcore. I gotta start that rage practice. One of Erin Telford, this master breath worker, a healer and guide, she prescribed rage practice to me. All right, I'm gonna go. If you need coaching, you know where to find me, or tutoring. I do some. All right, thanks. Thanks for watching.